Today, the defense continues its case and is expected to recall witness Brad Weber to the stand. He's the one who owns property near where Abby Williams and Libby German were killed and got into a heated exchange with Allen's attorney on cross-examination the last time he testified. More now from Court TV senior producer Barbara McDonald, who is in Delphi covering the trial.
Today is day 15 in the Delphi double murders trial here in Carroll County, Indiana. And today we expect the defense to call Brad Weber as a witness. He's an important witness for the state's timeline. They say that he came home from work around 2:30 on the day of the attack. He lives just south of the bridge where that abduction of Abby and Libby happened. The state says he interrupted Richard Allen's attack, and therefore Richard Allen marched the girls across the creek where he killed them. The defense says that there are problems with what time Brad Weber got home, and he gave inconsistent statements previously to law enforcement about what time that was. On Saturday, the defense also called Douglas Carter, the superintendent of Indiana State Police. He was only on the stand for a few minutes, long enough to testify that in 2021, he asked the FBI to stop working on the Delphi murders case, and he even asked them to return all of the materials in their possession related to the case. No explanation was offered as to why he did that. On Saturday, jurors also watched about 15 videos from Richard Allen's time in the Westville prison. These videos were all done by camcorder, showing him being transported from one place to another within the prison. One of those videos apparently showed a medical visit. In some of the videos, he is naked, hooded, handcuffed behind his back. Now, the gallery could not see these videos, but the jurors paid very close attention to them, taking lots of notes. We're also hearing that the defense could be done as early as Wednesday with their case in chief, meaning the jury could get this case by the end of the week. Here in Carroll County, I'm Barbara McDonald.
Our thanks to Barbara McDonald for being our eyes and ears inside of that courtroom where cameras were not allowed and electronics are not allowed. So she is writing everything down, handwritten notes, and then delivering that for us to stay up to date on what's going on. Let's bring in former criminal defense attorney Kirk Nurmi, who is standing by. Kirk, this is a case that's been highly anticipated. We are finally hearing not only the prosecution's case, but now we're in the defense case. And this witness, Brad Weber, is a pretty important one.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that's obviously important in any case is telling a story, and a timeline is part of that story. And if Mr. Weber can, you know, bring forward some of the defense's points regarding that timeline and regarding maybe that it couldn't have been Mr. Allen, obviously with the tactic they're trying to take here, that's an important witness. And they feel like maybe bringing him back, maybe they felt like they couldn't get all the questions out in cross-examination or something occurred to them. So they want to, and it's a good tactic in some ways to take a state's witness, a key state's witness, and make them your own.
Let's talk about this surveillance video, because we understand from reporters who were permitted to see it, it was, quote, very difficult to watch. And the purpose for showing this is the defense wants this jury to understand the environment that these confessions, alleged confessions, were done in, that he looks despondent, that he's not resisting, that he's being dragged seemingly through these halls, that sometimes he's in a wheelchair, that he's just in a state where they are arguing he could not have made a rational comment to police. Your thoughts on the impact that may have on the jury, whether they will think that this is Allen being mistreated, or that he was just in a state because of his guilty conscience?
Well, it's hard to say, but obviously, when we talk about the justice in this case, we talk about not just the destination, because I think they probably have the right person on trial, but the journey, right? That's really what justice is just about the journey. And we think about this journey, it's really beneath the dignity of the United States criminal justice system to torture a man in the way Mr. Allen was tortured and the confession that came therefrom, right? Now, given that he had details that only the killer would know and things like that, I think the jury will certainly consider that they might be valid. But the way the jury, as Barbara reported, is taking notes and things like that, they know, they can see, it doesn't really even take expert testimony to see how much Mr. Allen's conditions of confinement were torturous and could elicit a false confession in order to end that torture.
It's really tough to hear the details that are coming out. We know this jury, no doubt, impacted either way by seeing these graphic images. We know the family of the victims were concerned that the gallery was not shown those surveillance videos, but they were shown the deceased body. So understandable critique of that. Kirk Nurmi, thank you so much for your analysis this hour.